Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there.
Alright people, so Fight Camp is now officially done for this year. Whether they do it next year or not, I don't know. I like the concept personally of Fight Camp. I see where there can be a few issues with the camera work because they're in someone's back garden. But the actual concept I don't think is that bad. So if they do it next year, happy days. I want to give some feedback, the pros, the cons, and what I think should be changed with regards Dazn and Matchroom. Because we've had 3 weeks now, we've had a chance to see kind of how it's gone, how it's looked. Certainly there's certain things I liked, there's other things I don't like. I'm going to touch on them. Now, I want to touch on the 3 cards individually. So, week 1 was quite good. Week 1 was quite good, even though the fact that the main event was scrapped at the last minute. It ended up being Lee Wood versus Can Zhu in the main event. Now, first Fight Camp week, I didn't watch it live, but I watched most of the fights the next day. I had no issues with it. And I actually think Lee Wood's performance was the performance of Fight Camp, in my opinion. The fact that he took that on short notice against a regular champion, it has to be said. But Can Zhu was undefeated, was known to operate at world level, and Lee Wood had never operated past British level, and again, take it on short notice. For me, that performance was the performance of Fight Camp, bar none. The fight of Fight Camp definitely was Babbage versus Bennett. That was fun. That was a really, really, really fun fight. The first 2 weeks of Fight Camp, I had no issue with them. The second week was better because it just had more drama. It had the heavyweights on it. I think every fight, apart from one on that card, ended in a knockout. So we got a lot of knockouts on that card. It was a very good little card, the second week of Fight Camp. It really was. Third week of Fight Camp, oh boy. I said it in my preview for this Fight Camp week, and I said it last night. Well, actually, I said it in the preview that this wasn't the strongest and that it looked like they were going out on a whimper. In reality, that whole card, apart from the main event, was crap. There's no other way I'd describe it. It was absolutely crap. It was full of mismatches, short notice fights. It kind of had that written on it from the start because that third week had so many TBAs and fighters signed in for it but never got it, that it was always going to be, you could kind of tell about a month before that was going to be a bad card because you didn't know who was fighting. There was names like Felix Cash announced, and was it going to be an 8 round or 10? You just kind of looked at it and you thought, oh my god, this is not going to be anything special, because Felix Cash, you want to build him on momentum from the Denzel Bentley fight, and you're putting him in like a little tear up. So I kind of knew this was going to be alright, but I didn't think it'd be as bad as it was. It was absolutely crap. Now, it really was. I was watching that card last night and I was just like, what the hell? Main event was great. Main event saved that card. But realistically, they really should have put more effort into it. Now, I don't know what the story is with fighters. Some of them mightn't have dates ready. Some of them might. A lot of things could have happened. I don't know. So, there's that. In terms of, the presentation of the whole event, as I said, it's in Eddie Hearn's back garden. So, with the camera work, it's not going to be as on point as it would have been if it would have been in, say, the O2 or the Copper Box, Wembley Arena, etc. It's not going to be on his point because, like I said, you're in someone's back garden. So you're going to miss a few shots. The camera is going to be a bit off at times. I kind of turned a blind eye to that because I know it's not as easy there as it would be in an arena or in a big stadium. In terms of everything else, I didn't think that the production was too bad. In terms of everything else, it looked quite good. I've no real issue with that. I think that Dazn, if you look back to the early days of Dazn, they've really come a long way in terms of their production value. As I said, you're in someone's backyard. It's not the easiest to get the camera angle spot on. But everything else, I think, looks very good from Dazn's part. We get to the presenters and the punditry. Now, this is where they're going to need to change things. Not to say that anyone from Dazn is going to watch my video, but if they did, this is just some feedback from a fan of boxing a long time. Maya Jama, I don't have an issue with her being the presenter. I said this at the time, that I think she's going to make some howlers in the first few weeks because she just doesn't know anything about boxing, and I just give her the benefit of the doubt with them because, as I said, she's going to make howlers, and she did. She made a few mistakes. She called Tommy McCarthy Paul McCarthy. She called the WBA the WAB or something like that, or something out there. Little bit more research, yeah, maybe, but at the end of the day, her job is not to analyse these fights and to give predictions and picks on it. Her job is to ask the pundits questions. Now, one issue I have is that there's no chemistry between Maya Jama and Tony Bellew. Like, there's just no chemistry there. If they want to keep Maya Jama, I don't mind. At the end of the day, look, she's there. I think Maya Jama is a nice looking girl, but she's nothing to write home about. That's just my opinion. But her as a presenter, I really don't mind. I'm indifferent, to be honest with you. The presenter, whether it be male or female, majority of the time they're there to ask the pundits questions. They're not there to really give any great insight into it. So I really don't care. If you wanted my opinion on who I would like to see presenting, if they got rid of Maya Jama, Laura Woods or Ali Drew, preferably Ali Drew, because she is quite a good presenter. She's done presenting work for Fight Zone, which was on the Michael Conlan's last card. She's done very good at that. So if they ever were to get rid of Maya Jama, not to say they will, I'd be 100% saying get Ali Drew in there. Like, Laura Woods is alright. She's good, she's alright. But I think Ali Drew was just more... she just is just nicer. And I don't mean that in a sense of just Laura Woods is anything. No, Laura Woods is what she is. She's grand looking. But I just think Ali Drew is just a little bit more presentable, maybe is the word I want to use. But I just leave it like that. At the end of the day, the presenters are going to be asking the pundits questions. So I really don't have a horse in the race as to who's doing it. As long as they're asking good questions, I really don't care. In terms of the punditry, they will eventually add more pundits to it. And I think they need to. Because having just Maya Jama, Tony Bellew don't work for me. You know, they need to get more people in there, because Bellew is... Look, when Bellew was hired, and I heard the story, I'm not going to tell about it, but I heard some of the other pundits that were in the line for this, and I heard the reason why Bellew got hired, and it's a silly reason. It's nothing to do with being pro-matchroom or anything like that, but it is quite a silly reason, and I think that kind of was a head scratcher. And to be fair, when they announced Bellew for Dazn, or Harley Quinn as I should say, it was a unanimous like, I don't think I saw one positive comment saying, oh wow, Bellew. When we saw that, I think every fan of boxing just went, game changed, huh? So look, I'd love it if they just got rid of Bellew, because at the end of the day, right, he's the way he just cannot be objective. There's a good analyst there, but he said last night Conor Benn is the best prospect in the welterweight division. Okay, then put him in there at Boots Ennis, see what happens. Virgil Ortiz, or even Kabalaskas, see what happens. He said to Maya Jama he never got knocked out. Ask Adonis Stevenson and ask Alexander Usyk that. If he could just separate the ego and just call it as it is, he'd be much better. Because if you ever seen Bellew, when he's calling fights where he's not really where he doesn't care, basically, you know, when it's a fight where it's like fighter A, fighter B, I don't care, matchroom aren't really pushing them, I don't know the other, I don't care, he's actually alright, because he's not invested in it, so he's actually got no reason to be biased. So if you could get that Bellew more, I wouldn't mind it as much. If they wanted to add to it, definitely Paulie. I think Paulie is, you see, I felt that the Zone went safety first with their pundits. You know, Andy Lee, Tony Bellew, Darren Barker. You get a Paulie in there who's colourful. Paulie Malignaggi is the sort of guy where even if he's on, like, put it like this, right? I remember Paulie commentating on Linares versus Kroll at the first fight. And Adam Smith and Carl Froch were doing a really bad job commentating on that fight, because they were really trying to make it out as though this fight was close. It wasn't close. And Paulie Malignaggi was the only one on commentary. And I think after about 7 rounds, he kind of brought them back to earth, and he was like, guys, I don't know what fight you're watching, this isn't close. And after that, they started to change their tone on the fight. I know with Paulie, Paulie's not really a biased type of character. He's never going to call it, he's going to call it as he sees it. And I think that's what we want. I think with Eddie Hearn, he's playing the safety kind of game, where it's like, you know, jobs for the boys, you know, give it to the guys who won't say a bad word. If that's what you want, fine, but like most people from the outside looking in, they want to see a bit of spice. They want to see someone out there who's going to call it like it is and has a good boxing brain. Like, Paulie Malignaggi's boxing knowledge and boxing brain is very good. I would love to see guys like Andre Ward on there, but I think they're really kind of set in with ESPN, so that's kind of not going to happen. But if they could bring in someone like a Paulie or like a Frampton, I'd really like that, because I think Frampton's very good. David Price would be excellent. If you want, a Liverpudlian in there, get David Price in there, because David Price, for my money, he started doing punditry, I think 2014, and straight away you could see this guy knows boxing. His predictions are always very good. He's obviously got a few wrong, as we all do, but for the most part, he's spot on. He's got a very good boxing brain. David Price is a very good pundit. I would be bringing him in if they were taking on more pundits. Now, in terms of the commentary, I didn't mind Chris Lloyd on commentary. Didn't mind him really too much. He seemed alright. He seemed to be kind of, just getting by, learning the ropes. Andy Lee, the first week, I didn't really agree with him in his scoring, but then again, I think that Andy Lee has his own style that he likes. Like, for example, with me, I love the aggressor. So if I'm scoring a fight, I'm always looking to see who the aggressor is. I think Andy Lee could be different. I don't think Andy Lee favours the aggressor too much. I think he's more the kind of pure boxer in terms of when he's scoring a fight, but every judge has their own kind of style, what they like. I think Harold Lederman was someone who favoured the aggressor a bit, when he was scoring. So every person has their own kind of style. Scoring can be subjective. You see things you like. Like, for example, as I said with me, I love the quality shots, and I like the aggressor. That's not to say I'll always score for the aggressor, certainly not, but in a close round, I'd always be looking, right, who was the guy forcing the action. I think Andy Lee could be kind of doing that as well, in a sense, if he's looking for the out-and-out boxer or something like that, or maybe the volume. But he's definitely improved. They had Mike Costello on last night. I've only ever really heard Mike Costello a few times. I've never listened to him live. I've always listened to him after a fight, or, on BBC, when you want to see a different, point of view. I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off here with this, but could you have got someone better? Could you got someone more lively? Because he was putting me to sleep last night listening to him on commentary. I think Andy Lee saved that commentary because he was talking more, but they made it when Darren Barker was on commentary before the main show. I think it was, what fight was it? Was it McKinson? No, I forget who it was, but it's before the Mayo was Cash Farouk, and they were saying, we've got Mike Costello coming, get ready people, strap your, get ready, and it's like, oh really? And it's just like, yeah, right hand, left hook, and then you've Andy Lee coming in saying, but this and that. It's like, Costello's alright, but could you really have got, because you've now got someone else? Growing pains, maybe he'll improve as time goes on. It was his first show, I'll give him that. But that's my thoughts on the team. Definitely need to add more pundits. If they're insisting on keeping Harley Quinn, get a few more people in there as well. I mean, it is, put it like this, it's bad form when Kid Galahad won't want to speak to him. Like when you have fighters who just, the minute they come in, they're like, I don't want to speak to you. When you have a pundit where fighters are already kind of like lukewarm with, it's kind of not a good look. So we'll wait and see how that goes. In terms of everything else, like the cards we have up and coming, like the Headingley card, it's looking good, no complaints there. The card in Liverpool ain't got no complaints really. It's got good domestic fights that we need to get, that we should have had before. Troy Williamson, Kieran Conway versus Metcalf, Liam Smith versus Anthony Fowler. It's like domestic clash heaven at £154. That's good. We need that. That's what we need. So moving forward, it looks like they're going in the right direction with their matchmaking, thankfully. But I just think that just the team needs a good bit of looking at. Like, you got Addy Drew is fine, Laura Woods is fine, big up to Addy, no complaints, shout out to him every single time. Fine with them. I would just add a bit more depth into the punditry team, and I personally just find it, I don't want to irritate, but I just find it strange the fact that with Eddie Hearn, it was the same on Sky. It's always ex-Matchroom fighters you get. I don't understand that. Why do you always insist on it being ex-Matchroom? What's wrong with getting a Paulie? What's wrong with getting a Pricey? What's wrong with getting someone different? It's like, it's just this safety first mentality that it's like, well, they know me, I know them. They're not going to speak out. There you go. At the end of the day, I'm someone who loves colourful characters. I've seen so many people, not even in boxing, who just don't like colourful characters. And I remember Hatman saying that he feels it's because when you get these colourful characters and you have them on, TV and stuff like that, people see them and they see how different they are to them. They're like, I don't like that. I want someone like me. And I genuinely believe that. You know, the amount of people I've seen who don't like someone like Paulie Malignaggi based upon nothing. Like, they look at Paul, they're like, I don't like Paulie. Oh, the way he taught, he's just too out there. It's like, but he knows what he's taught about. He's good. No, I want someone boring. It's like, why do you want someone boring? Like, what the... He's entertaining. Like, he's entertaining. He's good boxing brain. Even the things like, I remember Jeremy Clarkson. The amount of people I know who don't like Jeremy Clarkson. Like, why? He's funny. He's too funny. I want someone more... what? Really? Are we going that bad now where anyone has a bit of sense of humour, they actually can speak well? It's like, you speak too well. I'm intimidated. Really? Come on. Those are my thoughts on Fight Camp and Dazn Matchroom. As I said, it's early. Could be some growing pains. Not that anyone from Dazn is likely to watch my video. If they did, my email address is on the About page if you want to know. Just saying. But no, in all seriousness, they're just some of the things I have to take. There's some good, definitely. The first 2 weeks very good. The last week, crap. The production has improved dramatically over the years with Dazn. I don't begrudge them the camera angles because some of them were a bit off on these cars. But then again, as I said, they're in the back garden. It's not the easiest, so I'm not going to lay blame at that. Presenters, if you want to stick up Maya Jama, I'm fine with that. If you want to change her, I'm fine with that. I'm indifferent. At the end of the day, she's really there to ask questions. She's not there to give boxing knowledge, to be honest with you. So I could care less who they get to present, to be honest with you. Pundits, add more, maybe change it around a bit. At the end of the day, I think that if this is the zone who are making the decisions, it shouldn't matter. You see, this is the thing I've always felt, is that, like, should it matter if Eddie Hearn wants this guy? It's your company. So if Eddie Hearn is like, oh, I'd like Bellew, or, you know, I'd like Crolla, but if one of the heads of the zone is like, well, I want Paulie, surely you got to say, the head of the zone can say, no, I want this guy. You know, who knows? Could be reading too much into it. Gonna leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Hope you do. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts. If you would change anything, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought of the camp, all that stuff. Has the game been changed? Has it? Let me know. I'll talk to you. Peace.